And so kind of getting your connection with DK in particular, I saw the like the TV segment that King
Mhm.
5 in Seattle, the NBC affiliate out there, did on you, and it started kind of as you're saying, kind of like a private workout. What do you remember
Yeah,
about kind of that shoot you did where you met him, and how did maybe you get invited to this?
yeah. So let's see here. This is a while ago. So I remember there was a trainer in the area, and he had invited me out to a workout, and then DK was also going to be there. And so obviously I came to the workout, and I didn't even know that he was going to be there, but he was there, and I was like, oh damn, it's DK, right? Because at the time, I mean, I'm a junior in high school, so and DK is
Oh,
like the new star of the Seahawks. So I'm like, oh hell yeah, like that's that's pretty sweet. It was kind of unexpected, and then but I just kept it really professional, and I shook his hand, introduced myself, and then didn't say another word to him throughout the workout and let him do his thing. But then I just sent him a couple photos on Instagram right after, and to my surprise, he responded within like 2 minutes, and I was like, that's crazy. Definitely didn't expect that. But anyways, he loved the photos, and then but video is like my main thing. And then so we talked about doing a video together, and then we filmed a few more times for video. He absolutely loved the video. And then kind of this is all during COVID because
okay.
I feel like training camp was delayed or players weren't allowed in the facility for OTAs or whatnot. So that was when they were just doing a lot more like off-field private workouts. And he just kept on texting me to come back to his workouts and keep on filming. And he absolutely loved the videos. And then, yeah, then a bit later, it was in the spring of, I want to say 2020. It was my senior year at that point, and school was still online, and it was high school, and we had all gotten into college already. So school wasn't necessarily the most like real thing, if you will, at the time.
Yeah.
And so he texted me and he was like, "Want to come live with me out in Arizona?" And I pitched that to my mom, and she was like, "Oh hell no! Like there's no shot. Like I don't know. Like I'm not gonna go let you live with some football player down in Arizona." And finally, it took a lot of convincing. He talked to my family, and pretty instantly, like my family just fell in love with him and thought he was the nicest, coolest dude, and just have all the love in the world for him.
Yeah, so in that same TV segment I was watching, so I guess he took your mom out to dinner. Was that kind of like
Yeah.
the bow tie on it all?
Um, not necessarily because at that point I was already down in Arizona, but it
Got it.
was it was funny because well, so they had already like known each other at that point just from like calling, and DK was like, I'll treat him like a brother and stuff like that. But it was just so funny because she was staying at like a Hilton Garden Inn or something. Like it's like a modest hotel, if you will. And then just hear DK and I come up and pick her up in a Lamborghini.
Oh,
and
shoot.
and she was like, "Oh my goodness!" But then, yeah, we went out to dinner, and she just loved him, and they connected, and just had a great night, and yeah, they were close from then.
So, okay, so let me make sure I have the timeline right. So, this first private workout where you meet him, this was this in what, summer of 2019?
2019, yeah,
Okay. So from that time to spring 2020, he's asking you to live with him in Arizona, like for an off
it
season.
was it was no, because it was after the season had uh, after the 2019 season had ended. I made some
Okay.
recap
Yeah.
videos and whatnot for him, and that felt like kind of the cherry on top, and that's
Okay.
what happened. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. And so tell me about kind of like how that relationship, right? Because you're obviously working with him, working for him, or however that goes. But clearly, for him to ask you to live with him, like to spend time with him at that capacity, you guys had to have become close. What can you maybe say about like his personality that you maybe would have never guess. I mean, you're living with him, right? So like, what did you maybe learn about him that you thought was cool?
He's a creature of habit. He does the same thing every day. He works incredibly hard. I mean, I'm sure everyone can tell. Um, but yeah, no, he's the epitome of consistency, and he's a really funny dude. Like we just are laughing our butts off all the time together, and just have a really great time. Um, but he's a real person, and I think people should know that. I remember one of the first days that I was with him, like he was fixing the toilet because the toilet wasn't working. So he's like taking the toilet apart and putting his hands in there and trying to figure it all
Yo,
out. Like, okay, like, it wasn't that bad,
yeah,
but like he's a person just like you and I, and yeah.
yeah. I think that's just a really important message. I think
Mhm.
just in general, right? Because of how we with sports fandom and the whole fantasy element of it, like I feel like people
Yeah,
just kind of look at
yeah,
and being kind of on the just doing what you do and your proximity to athletes, just how they're viewed and just I don't know. That's a whole nother topic, but it's really cool that you've gotten to know him and gotten to see that side of DK. And so Niko, just your role, right? Your personal photographer for DK, his creative director. What exactly does that mean? Like, what is your day to day looking like with him?
Yeah. It's hard because I mean I'm in school, so that takes up a huge chunk of time, and so it obviously varies a lot, like off season to season. But pretty much in the season, it's a lot of stocking up on footage for the future that we'll look back on in 10, 15 years and hopefully do something really cool with.
Mm,
So a lot of going through that footage, organizing it, knowing what I have, and then I try to also take as many photos as I can for social media, and then just kind of help curate posts, deliver photos, things like that, and then just random hype recap, edit videos, your kind of normal social media projects. But yeah, I'll go in spurts like where I'll stay with him for a bit of time and then go back home and then stay with him for a bit of time and then um, so yeah, making videos from those times and yeah.
and you said you're kind of stockpiling stuff for like
Mhm.
10, 15 years down the line. So is it kind of like the vision to like make like some kind of documentary or like what's kind of was that kind of like DK's task for you, like helping me like
Yeah,
create
yeah. I
this?
mean, DK is the he's the director for sure, the producer, but you'll see. Everyone will see.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I look First of all, I look forward to seeing that down the line. But in what ways does he maybe kind of empower you to kind of execute on your creative juices, right? Because obviously he's brought you on to do this for him, but it seems like he's given you the space to kind of do your own thing in terms of what you're capturing of him in all facets of his life. So how does he maybe kind of like have his hands off and just kind of let you do what you do because you're good at it?
Yeah, that part's really cool, and I love him for it. He just gives me all the trust in the world and room to do whatever I want. He's never looking over my shoulder or doing anything like that. But he's sort of into like the directing role as well as being an actor. Like he knows he's a writer. He knows his way around kind of the industry. So
Mm,
we have the same eye for a lot of things. Like we can talk about like color science and know about which colors in evict a certain tone or think cool things like that. Like he's a really knowledgeable dude in that area.
mm.
Um, so I mean, yeah, he's always giving me the space, but he also like he knows a lot about random filmmaking things too, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah, kinda going off of that, Nico, what can you maybe say about, like, what his business acumen is
Right.
like, from a marketing, social media standpoint? Because the fact that he's even thinking, "Okay, we can produce this thing for 15 years down the line as, like, an asset," like, you don't hear a lot of guys talk like that, and bringing you on and helping him execute that vision, what can you maybe say about, like, how his brain how his brain is wired and how he thinks?
There's a cat tail.
Oh, you're good?
Uh, say that last part again.
Yeah, just the fact that like his business acumen, right? Like what can you say about just the fact that he's even thinking 10,
Right.
15 years down the line with the content that is being produced in the present? What does that maybe say about how his mind is working?
Yeah, he is such a smart guy, and I think you hear about it a lot with various NFL players trying to build something off the field. Like they're way more than just a football player. Like that's just one part of all these guys on the field. Like for example, like Tyler Lockett, how he's a real estate agent too, and Bobby seems to know everything about business. But yeah, DK's he's growing himself in so many industries, which is so cool to see. Like financial industry, fashion, acting, directing, writing, you name it. He's like songwriting, singing. He does everything, and it's so cool to see that. And it's that part I guess is really inspirational too, because sometimes I feel like I'm just like the videographer, the photographer, and I'm kind of in that box. But it makes you realize that you can do so much more in fields that are so vastly different from I guess your main thing.
Mhm.
Um, that's pretty inspirational, and in credit to him because it's like that. It takes a lot of time to do all these things, and like he puts in the work and he learns how to do new things, and he goes to acting class and cool things
He
like
goes
that.
to acting classes?
Yeah, he's
Oh, wow.
taken acting classes before.
Okay.
I
Wow.
think he's definitely talked about that some places.
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Okay. Wow. Yeah, that's really cool.